Good morning. It's a very special day for the class of 2019. Those of you who might not be aware, as we celebrate the graduation of the class of 2019, we're also beginning the celebration of 25 years of offering holiness education in this place. It's been a journey that has been long. It's been a journey that has been full of memories as we have traveled this road. And so we cannot help, as we gather today, to express our deepest gratitude to the God who has done more than we could have asked for. And as we welcome our guests on campus, our esteemed guests from far and near, and in a moment we will have time to introduce some of the guests that we have in our midst. But let me focus for a moment on the class of 2019 as they gather here today, because they are a special class. Graduating as we observe our 25th anniversary. But it is important that even as we celebrate them and as we begin this new life stage with them, that we remember to keep our eyes focused on the challenges before us as a continent. And one such challenge that Africa generously shares in common are the twin problems of employment and employability. And I dare say that unless we resolve these, all the other vision issues that we talk about in Africa, the silencing of the guns, the elimination of negative ethnicity, the elimination of xenophobia, and overcoming gender-based violence will remain a pipe dream until we address the issues of employment and employability. While the problem has been with us for quite a while, in recent days it has been accentuated by the disruptive technologies of the fourth industrial revolution. As we enter into the fourth industrial revolution, which has been described and defined in different ways by many people, but the essence of it is that we are now in an age, or what we would refer to as the current age, in which our environment is dominated by disruptive new technologies and the convergence of technologies and information. And so we talk about the Internet of Things, we talk about robotics, we talk about virtual reality, we talk about artificial intelligence, and all these things are crowding the space that for so long we have occupied without any challenge as human beings. But as we enter these disruptive technologies, one of the things that we are constantly reminded is that what is specifically unique about these technologies of the fourth industrial revolution is the manner in which, the speed in which they happen, the extent to which they disrupt our lives. Everything is happening in exponential stages. So for a continent like Africa that has already been very low in what people refer to as employment skills, according to the World Economic Forum, we're reminded that as of 2018, only 6% of Africa's population had what one would refer to as the high-end skills essential for employment in the age in which we live. And the global average is 24%. So you can see the distance that we still have to travel. And experts forecast that at least 39% of the core required skills across all sectors in Africa will be very different by the year 2020. And sometimes when we talk about the year 2020, it seems so far, but it's only 2 years from now. And all these changes will be as a result of the disruptive technologies that constitute what we refer to now as the Fourth Industrial Revolution. According to Mount York, and I quote him, employability in higher education refers to graduates' achievements, his or her potential to obtain a graduate job, and should not be confused with the actual acquisition of a graduate job, which is subject to influences in the environment, a major influence being the state of the economy. In this context, I would argue that greater focus should be on employability rather than employment, as employment assumes existence of opportunity, whereas employability focuses on the creation of opportunities. While the issue of employability of university graduates is something that has been part of our journey for many years, the challenge, as I've indicated, is only going to be accentuated by what the Fourth Industrial Revolution is bringing. And so what do we do as educators and as countries and as nations? I suggest that the first step in this direction could be that we start moving away from the kind of education that we've gotten used to. An education that has been referred to by many as a silo-based approach to education that focuses on a rigid professional education and beginning to adopt a liberal arts approach to education. Liberal arts education, according to experts, is an education approach, college education, that empowers individuals and prepares them to deal with complexity, to deal with diversity, to deal with change. This approach emphasizes broad knowledge of the wider world, the world of science, the world of culture, the world of technology, and society as a whole, as well as an in-depth achievement in a specific field of interest. It helps students develop a sense of social responsibility, strong intellectual and political skills, and a whole lot of practical skills that span all major fields of study, such as communication, analytics, and problem-solving skills, and the demonstrated ability to apply knowledge and skills in real life situations. In this regard, the higher education for capability approach to education for employment, as proposed by Johan Stevenson, offers a great potential. According to Stevenson, and I quote, capability is developed as much by the way students learn as by what they learn. If students have the experience of being responsible and accountable for their own learning within a rigorous and intensive environment, they will develop confidence in their ability to take effective action and appropriate action to explain what they are about, to live and work effectively with other people, and to continue to learn from their own experiences. The higher education for capability approach is a total approach. Confidence in one's personal qualities and specialist expertise is developed through successfully taking responsibility and accounting for the reflective application of special knowledge and skills. And I end quote. Now, to achieve this as academic institutions And as African states, we need to invest more in digitalization processes so that as academics, we are better resourced to be active participants in ushering in the fourth industrial revolution. It is patently clear that there are a lot of advantages from the technologies of the fourth industrial revolution. And these we must pursue for the well-being of Africa. However, to harvest these potential advantages and opportunities of the fourth industrial revolution, appropriate infrastructure, equitably distributed among and within different nation states, is absolutely essential. Indeed, as Elizabeth Blavatsky states it in a 2018 report titled "The Role of Artificial Intelligence in Education and the Changing U.S. Workforce," she writes, "While changes in artificial intelligence and emerging technologies create challenges, these technologies offer advancements that we cannot ignore. Artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies can be used to create scalable resources that support large numbers of students and others as they navigate education, training, and career pathways. This potential will only be equitably realized if significant investments are made in the essential physical and technological infrastructure that is essential for running the learning and teaching platforms that we refer to in this article. This is even more true in the African context, where internet penetration is still relatively low and electricity and energy supply rather tenuous, thus risking derailing Africa's progress. For us as educators, we need to focus on a number of critical things, such as leading the revolution of learning to unlearn a lot of what we have over the years accepted as orthodoxy about education and professional skills, so that we can better prepare graduates for the future. According to Alvin Toffler, the futurist and philosopher, the elite, and I quote him, "The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn." Things we have learned, for instance, about what it is that is a soft skill versus what is a hard skill become barriers which we will have to overcome if we're going to effectively educate and skill the current and next generations for the fourth industrial revolution. What does this mean? This means looking at the nature and the function of skills differently from the way we have been socialized and even educated to learn and think about skills. If capability in today's world is understood to be a function of knowledge and professional skills, what we currently refer to as hard skills, we have to understand that in the world of the fourth industrial revolution, our knowledge and professional skills that we pride ourselves in as hard skills, those skills alone will only be useful for doing routine jobs and functions. For the next generation of Africa's youth to be adequately educated to be masters of the fourth industrial revolution, with mastery of both the essential skills, attitudes, and experiences, there is an urgent need to lead our students in learning to unlearn many things. In this process of unlearning, we'll have to prioritize new skills such as communications, both verbal and written, because communications is what is going to facilitate the linkages and the interaction between and amongst human beings and between the human beings and the key technologies and tools of the fourth industrial revolution, such as artificial intelligence, robotics, machine learning, and so on. Additionally, emotional intelligence, which gives us ability as the human beings or as the human species to relate to other beings with reciprocity, respect, and dignity, will also be essential in our priority skills list. Creative thinking, problem-solving skills, teamwork, and mathematical computation will define how graduates of the future impact their world. These are what we will call the capability skills of the future. But as we grapple with all these things, it's important to keep the main thing the main thing. As we make these changes, we need to focus on employability. It is important that we do not lose focus of dealing with the perennial problem of employability. But as we do so, also there are ethical issues that we need to be dealing with. How we as human beings begin to share this space with technologies that are so powerful, and at times technologies that seek to dominate what we have for so long celebrated as human. In reflecting on this, it is important that we begin thinking about an ethic that's appropriate for the fourth industrial revolution. And in this regard, as African Nazarene University, we are beginning to make steps in that direction. When we espouse and organize an education that is founded on Christian values, we are, in essence, saying in this sea of change, in these storms of the fourth industrial revolution, how do you keep your core being safe? And our response to that is that an education founded on values based on our Wesleyan Christian belief is the anchor that you will need to navigate your way through the storms of the fourth industrial revolution. Yes, there is opportunity out there, but it's opportunity for those who have the right values, who have the right education, who have the right experience. And the time to seize those opportunities is now. And that's what we give you as the class of 2019.